Okay. Um, Not sure what happened. Obviously, the power went out on my end, so hopefully you guys can do this stream. Sorry for the inconvenience of the power outage. As you can tell, my hair is all messed up. It's not necessarily my best setup per se, but I still want to talk some NBA news. See really quick if there's a way to um, edit my camera. Let me see if I can use my headphones really quick as my speaker. Because I would love to actually get a chance to talk really quick. Let's see here. Let's see if this changes anything. Everybody, this is not what I had in mind to end the stream on. But let's see here really quick. Live chat. There we go. That's fine. Hey, Supreme Gamer, how you doing, man? It's been a minute. This is kind of a bootleg stream right now with the way things kind of abruptly ended on my other one. Let's see here. I kind of want to change. There has to be a way to change my. There just has to be a way to change it. I want to change my. There has to be a way to change not the details. I want to change my. No, not tags. I kind of want to change my recording equipment. I don't know if I'm able to at this point. But let's see here. I'll kind of just relax a little bit and kind of talk with you guys in this aspect. As you can tell, my hair is crazy right now. But nevertheless, let's kind of continue talking about it. Hey, what's up, Archer? Archer, did you get my workout plans? I know you're in the chat. Can you let me know if you got the workout plans on that? And then Supreme Gamer, how you doing, man? It's been a minute. What you been up to? Let's see here if there's any other. No. Okay, let's kind of go on. Like, this is definitely going to be a different type of live stream, guys. Wish we were kind of using my camera setup. It sucks that like all this stuff and equipment is just going to go to null and void in use. Supreme Gamer, I see that you're talking about the Chris Paul news. What did you make of it, Supreme Gamer? I kind of went on a little tirade on my last live stream. I liked the trade, but at the same time, it was one of those ones where I think the Thunder got to think about carefully, like what's going to be going on, because I don't think it's necessarily a great trade for them, because draft picks don't necessarily pan out all the time, right? I think the Boston Celtics are a perfect example of that. People expected us to get to the NBA Finals by now, win 2 or 3 championships. But that's just not the case with draft picks. You have to let them grow and develop. And right now, we're letting them grow and develop, but to the rate where I don't think it's necessarily a good thing at this moment. I'm definitely kind of disappointed right now in people's kind of opinions of that. Like, Chris Paul is washed. Like, I don't think he's washed. I think he still has those 2 years left. Like, with that Phoenix Suns kind of medical treatment team, I think I could see them being a team that, or being a player that could last maybe another 4 to 5 years, depending on where he ends up. But if he's on that team, I could see it being a good thing. Let me look at Hoops Hype really quick, guys. I know that this is kind of not the ideal situation. Let me go to Hoops Hype really quick. Hoops Hype. Then Archer, if you're still watching, let me know. Let me know by email. Send it to my district email and let me know about workout plans in terms of, like, do you understand the stuff? If there's something that you don't understand on that workout plan, Archer, let me know and I'll explain it to you via email. But just send me an email first, okay? What up, Shawnee? Have to stream from my laptop. This thing is fully charged, luckily, but it's at 85%, 84%. It keeps dropping down and down. So this is definitely not going to be a very long stream. The power outage is out in it looks like the northern part of Seattle right now. Sean, do you guys have a power outage where you're at? Sean and I kind of live in the same area relatively, so I want to know if his power is gone, because mine is completely gone. Like, I just don't have any power. Like I said, luckily I have my phone, which is a hotspot, and I can do this type of stream. What's frustrating is that I wanted to do my live stream on my phone. I wanted to do a live stream on my phone, but it just like it said no. I apparently have to have 1,000 subscribers, so that's why, guys, I'm pushing. Please help me get to 1,000 subscribers so I can live stream out there. So I can live stream on my mobile phone instead of live streaming on a 720p camera. I could be live streaming on a 1080p camera. But that's just me kind of ranting a little bit. We'll kind of talk about a little bit more of the NBA news, and then I kind of want to get into the mock draft and kind of see like how it's going to play out. The Celtics, what their moves they're making. But let's see here really quick as we continue to look. Let's see here. Let's look at some rumors of some trade rumors. Let's see here. We see Paul Millsap might be going to the Trailblazers. That actually might not be a bad move. I kind of like that because it adds some more stability. It adds a lot of value to the Trailblazers compared to him being on the Nuggets. Even though I do love him on the Nuggets, I think he'd be a much better fit on a different team. The James Harden trade rumors. The thing is, I think it's going to be a crazy show. Just due to the fact that those guys are so ball dominant that it's just going to be hard. It's just going to be hard to give the ball to three guys that need the ball in their hands, right? I think all three of them need the ball in their hands in order to be effective. I think Kevin Durant less, but like Kyrie Irving, his whole gimmick is that he's shimmying you, he's giving you the moves, he's giving you the business, and I don't think him and James Harden, who needs the ball in his hands to do his moves and do the business, I don't think it's going to pan out the way I think people think. I think it's going to be one of those things where people are not going to be interested in it. They're not going to like what he's doing. And I think that he's going to get eventually kicked off. Or not kicked off, but I don't think he's going to necessarily make an impact that I think a lot of people think he is. I think he's a good player. I think that he's, not necessarily like a player that I would be like, oh, no, don't have him. But at the same time, it's I'm not convinced with James Harden going to the Nets. I think Philly, I'm not even convinced. I think he really stays in Houston. I just don't see him fitting in any system where I think that he's able to just be like, you know what, you're right. Let you have the ball in your hands. I'll kind of stay aside, or I'll be a spot-up shooter. I don't see that in James Harden's game. I think he's more of a facilitator, but we'll see. And I think you're right, Sean. Westbrook, to me, those guys are two peas in a pod because those guys play the exact same style. They want to rack up the points, they want to rack up their stats, but they don't care about winning. And that's kind of the sad part about Westbrook and Harden at this point, because I don't think they necessarily care about getting to a championship. They just care about padding their stats, seeing where they are in NBA greats, and they'd rather be a Clyde Drexler type of player instead of Michael Jordan or LeBron James or any of these other players that want to get to a championship. I felt like it blew up because they got a first-year head coach and GM. They clearly don't have they don't have a direction at all. I think that right now they're kind of in this no man's land where they're deciding, should we go for a full rebuild? Should we kind of go into a half rebuild like the Miami Heat do? I think that they should go into the half rebuild like Miami does because I think it allows you to actually grow and develop, and I think that that's kind of the way that you should go. But we'll see. I just don't think that James Harden will want to stay there. Obviously, Westbrook has made his case that he doesn't want to stay there. Hey, Tyrese, how you doing? I had to do a makeshift stream. I have to use my computer, which I'm not necessarily happy about, like my MacBook, just because of the quality of the camera is not really good. But luckily, I have my phone to kind of be a hotspot, which is unfortunate because I would love to live stream on my phone, but I have to have 1,000 subscribers. Not something we'll strive for in this coming year. Hopefully, we'll get it by the end of this year, but it's all good. But yeah, I'm probably going to be on here for like another maybe 15 minutes kind of talking to some people out in the chat. Obviously, Tyrese, that'd be you, Supreme Gamer. So I don't think, like, going back to your thing, Supreme Gamer, I just don't think that James Harden wants to be in a rebuild. And I think the Houston Rockets need to decide, like, what they're going to do for the future. They're going to have to decide, like, what's more important. And they're going to have to get some good assets back. And I think the best assets you're going to get back is from, I think it's honestly from Brooklyn, because if you trade him to the Philadelphia 76ers, like, what are you going to get? Yeah, I also heard that too, Supreme Gamer. I heard that the Milwaukee Bucks, the Golden State Warriors are kind of the two teams besides the Lakers that are interested in him. I think Avery Bradley's a great player, and I think that any team that gets him will tremendously improve their roster. A 3-and-D guy that's the definition of a 3-and-D guy. And I think that that's really what the Milwaukee need at this point. So if the Milwaukee Bucks can snag him and actually, sign him up, then I think it'd be a great pickup for them. But we'll see what happens. I'm curious to know, does Avery Bradley, does he make a difference on a championship winning team? I think he does, with his ability. I think Brooklyn is more so trying to recreate that 2011 team with Paul Pierce and Garnett, but with younger players, obviously with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, who are kind of still in their prime, but they are still in their prime. But I think what the problem that I'm seeing with the Brooklyn Nets is that they're not necessarily a team that I would necessarily be afraid of, because if they're going to get James Harden or any of these superstar players, whether it's Bradley Beal or whatever team it is, they just don't have the bench like many teams. I think the Lakers were lucky in this sense because they did have a decent bench to go in and kind of help LeBron compared to the year before where they didn't. But let's see here. We unloaded assets for. Yeah, I don't think that James Harden necessarily brings them anything, in my opinion. I think that what James Harden does is that it allows him to be. I just don't think that he's going to like it there. I think Kyrie Irving is going to be too kind of, I don't know what the right word is, but not backstabbing, but more what's the right word to think of? It's one of those things where he's going to be a snake in the grass, in my opinion. I don't think that it's going to be a thing where Kyrie Irving's going to tell him straight up how he feels. He's going to do it through the media. He's going to do it through all these sort of avenues. It's going to create problems, and I think there's going to be some tension between Kyrie Irving and James Harden. That's why I don't think it's necessarily going to work there in Brooklyn, in my opinion. But let's see here really quick. Kind of look at some other options. Patrick Williams for the Bulls. We see this, to me, is kind of an interesting one. I kind of want to talk about it when it comes to Cole Anthony, because Cole Anthony is actually a very interesting. Cole Anthony is actually an interesting case because I've heard rumors that a lot of he's a bad teammate. That's what I've heard. That's kind of what I've heard about from people. Let me kind of look up the story really quick, and we'll talk about it. Right here, really quick. Happened on November. Cole Anthony upset with the apparent reputation as a bad teammate. So, projected first-round pick Cole Anthony on Friday denied the apparent notion that he was labeled a bad teammate during his time at North Carolina. Anthony has been knocked from some pre-draft processes for being a problem in the locker room last season, following an inconsistent showing. He was often criticized throughout the season when things were bad, and those questions have been the front and center prior to the NBA draft. The 20-year-old said in his pre-draft media availability that every time he interviewed, when he asked him about his reputation, Anthony vehemently denied the accusations and told reporters the rumors are simply true. It's very much false, Anthony said. If you base it off my play and say I made a lot of bad decisions, you might think I'm a bad teammate. I respect your opinion, but I'm going to say it's wrong. It's incorrect. I'm a super supportive guy. I want to see my teammates succeed. I don't know. Supreme Gamer, I'm going to do a live stream mock draft tomorrow. That's my goal for tomorrow, is to do a live mock draft. So if you guys tune in, I'm going to have it probably around, I want to say around 4:15, 4:30, that type of time, for a live mock draft. And we'll kind of go over what I see, what my picks are, and we'll kind of go from there as to what the mock draft is going to be. And to be honest with you, Supreme Gamer, it's going to be more of a top 15, top 16 type of thing, maybe top 20. But we'll see. Yes. Pacific time zone. Sean, you're more than welcome to join me on my mock draft live stream when you recover from your hangover, if you want to. And I'll invite some other friends of mine as well to kind of talk about the mock draft. But yeah, I'm going to do a live mock draft, in my opinion. I'm going to talk about who I think should be the number one pick and kind of go down the list, because I think there's some interesting rumors that people are not really looking at. And so we'll see what goes on from there. But to kind of go back to the Cole Anthony situation before I sign off in the next 10 to 15 minutes, Cole Anthony, I think, kind of had a bad reputation in that aspect. I don't necessarily like the fact that he's labeled a bad teammate when I know that. And Tyrese, I'll get to your question in just 1 second. I just kind of wanted to get my mind off this thing. Also seems scary. Might be like, yeah, Supreme Gamer. If hopefully, I'm not sure if you have a work schedule or school schedule or whatever it is that you're doing. But please join us tomorrow and we'll talk about this. That goes for you, Tyrese. That goes for anybody here in the chat. Join us tomorrow for a live stream. But that's not what we're going to talk about, right? We're going to talk about Cole Anthony and then I'll answer your question, Tyrese. But I think that when it comes down to Cole Anthony, I think that he does get labeled a bad teammate just because of the fact that he's very inconsistent in his play. I don't necessarily think that that's because of him or because he's a bad teammate necessarily. I think it's more because he's really inconsistent because he's such a smaller guard. I don't think he's necessarily the biggest guard out there. And the problem is when you double team him, when you get him into situations, he's not going to make the smartest reads. And that's kind of what's cost him a little bit when it comes to this. And so when it comes to Cole Anthony, yeah, he's very inconsistent. I don't necessarily think that he's the greatest player in this draft, but I do think that he's going to be a decent player. I don't think he's going to be anything special. He might be a backup guard, and that's kind of where I see him at through and through. Anthony Edwards, I'm also a little worried about him, Tyrese, just because I think that his shooting percentages at Georgia were really low for a guy that's supposed to be the number one option on a team. I understand you're going to chuck it sometimes because you're like, hey, I'm the guy. I can chuck as many shots as I want. But it's just one of those things where I'm not really necessarily sure about Anthony Edwards going from here on out. I think he could be a Victor Oladipo, maybe. But that's kind of where I see him as a ceiling is Victor Oladipo. Weight also, yeah, I think Anthony Edwards has to kind of get to a dietitian just like I do. Just kind of work on the weight because obviously there's certain weights that people need to be at. And Anthony Edwards, in order to be a high flyer, in order to be successful and not put so much pressure on his knees, they're going to have to make sure that they take care of their knees. Let me just double check here. Okay. And Tyrese, going back to your question, the Celtics, I believe that they're going to do a big trade. I think they're going to try and trade for, like you talked about yesterday, either Miles Turner or Vucevic. I think Vucevic is a guy that a lot of people aren't talking about, and I think the Boston Celtics are making some inquiries about Vucevic. I would love to get some big man that can help us. I think one of those guys we potentially see develop and grow, but it's going to be dependent on what he does in the near future. I think when it comes to it, Miles Turner is going to be a guy that we need to get. He's going to be a guy that we really, if it's not him, I would love to get Karl Anthony Towns. For some reason, I would love it. But I think Vucevic is someone that I think we really should look at as someone that could potentially be a sleeper pickup for us because I think that because I think we need a guy that can score buckets in the paint, especially when, especially with the way that offensively the Miami Heat like to play us in their zone. I think that he would be a great fit in that role. And I think that defensively he's a lot better. I think he's a better version of Enes Kanter, which is not saying much. But I think that he's one of those guys that we could potentially be looking at. Trey Gordon. See, I think Valanciunas is just too old at this point. I don't necessarily see him as someone that can be viable. I think Gordon Hayward we will trade depending on what happens. But if I had to pick someone to trade for Vooch, let me see really quick. I wish I could show you guys my screen. I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that on here. That's not going to be like CPU intensive, but maybe I just have to do this. Trade machine. Kind of look at it really quick. Let's go with let's see here. We'll go. What team is he on? The Magic. We'll go with the Boston Celtics. And let's see here. We got Vucevic, who I want. I mean, honestly, and then just hear me out. If we were able to get rid of I think a straight trade up would be Gordon Hayward for Vucevic. I think that's the trade. You straight up. I mean, you can give a pick. You can give one of those late round picks. Give him a couple of those picks. I don't care. I think Vucevic is actually a really good player. I would actually like him on the team. He adds a win to our total. And I think Vucevic, from his career, let's kind of look at that. He's he's a guy that improves each and every year. I think if we look at his career right now, he's a 16 point per game scorer with about 10.2 rebounds, a guy that gets the boards, a guy that shoots about 49%. Hopefully you guys are not hearing that in the stream, but I'll kind of turn it down if it is. But I think if we trade Gordon Hayward and give him some assets, I think like those first round picks, I think that's kind of the route we go down. But to be honest with you, I would really want Karl-Anthony Towns. Robert Williams. I mean, let me look at this again. Try this trade. Let's just trade. Let's see here. If we give them... I think Karl-Anthony Towns is who I'd want. I mean, I would love for Vucevic to be on the team, but I don't want to give him up for too many assets. But I think ultimately, Tyrese... Sean, no, I'm not trading Dillon Brooks. You can keep Dillon Brooks. You can keep his shot chucking. But I want to say Vancouver, but it's not Vancouver. It's Memphis. You can keep his... Yeah, Tyrese, that's kind of an interesting topic to talk about. And, maybe we'll end on that in that situation, is that I'm really curious to know about why the Celtics are trying to trade for a top 5. Sean. But yeah, I'm really curious to see why they want to trade into the top 5. They must either really like the guy from USC, Gordon Hayward, Enes Kanter, send me 13th pick for Vooch. I think that's a lot to give up for Vucevic. I would rather do that trade for Cat. I know that that's not going to be there. Dillon Brooks, he will give you Carson Edwards in the 2031st round. Hey, don't be surprised. Sean will actually take that trade. He will actually take that trade for Dillon. He hates Dillon Brooks on this team right now. He wants his shot chucking butt out of there. But yeah, I really think Tyrese, we're really going to be looking at the guy from USC. I think that's who they really want in this draft. It's either him or it's the guy, Denny. I think that's the two guys that they want. I don't see anything. I really don't see who else we could want. I don't think we want Halliburton because we already have a point guard in, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. We don't need another guard. So I think it really is going to be that center from USC. I think we really want him. And I'm not necessarily like a big fan of that because I think we should really use that pick to get someone else, but I think that's who we're really trying to go for. And I think that the Boston Celtics scouting department is keeping a secret or keeping something in their sleeve. Boots is a good bro. We're Dillon Brooks. We will give you Carson. Late night show. Minnesota. What do you mean by that awkward occurrence late night show? What do you mean by Minnesota? Let's see here. God, I really hate that this is how I have to live stream now. I just got to make what do with it. But let's see here. Marcus Smart, Daniel Theis, and 13th pick for 2 picks, and the Celtics pick Wiseman. See, I don't think Wiseman is necessary. I don't think he's a finished product. I think that he's too much of a project right now that I think that he will definitely go to a team that can bring him up. And I don't think that we're necessarily the team to do it. I think we like the guy from USC. I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, but the guy from USC is a lot better in terms of he's already kind of like a Bam Adebayo already at this point. I don't think we need to do anything for him. I don't think we need to really necessarily kind of continue the growth and development, where I think this guy is literally maybe a year or two away from being like a decent player for us. Maybe not the same as Bam Adebayo, but at least a decent player if that's who we're going for. I'm actually really curious who we're going for. Man, hey man, I'm a LaMelo Ball fan. I would love LaMelo Ball in the Celtics. Would he necessarily make us better? No, but I think that he would be a fun guy to watch on Boston. I think that he's really that good. He's that talented. And I think if If LaMelo Ball is slipping in the draft like a lot of people said he was, then I think you're crazy. I really do. I really think that you're crazy to think that he's going to slip past a certain pick. Gosh, my phone's getting super hot. But I'll kind of unplug it so it's not. LaMelo Ball and Tatum, that would be hell. Unless Rondo was there to facilitate their growth and development, then I don't think that those two guys can really work together. I love LaMelo, but I don't think that he's necessarily the guy that you would want there to be. I think that's the guy I'm talking about, Supreme Gamer. That's the guy from USC. Kungwa, I think that's how you pronounce his name. That's the guy that I think the Celtics would want. And that's just my opinion. I think that he's a guy that we could see. But we'll see. Let me see here. There's any other questions or any other situations here. I think Rondo will come back. I think that unless the Clippers are going to be offering something crazy, then I think Rondo comes back to the Celtics. Because I don't think he wants to go back to LA Lakers, because I think that a lot of people disrespected him. They slated him. And so they're kind of like, okay, if you're going to disrespect me, I'm just going to go to Boston. I'm going to end my career there where it started. And, I would love that fairy tale ending. Come back to Boston and help us win the championship with these young guys and end your career. You'll have a legendary career if that was the case, in my opinion. And Supreme Gamer, I think that's the guy I was talking about. I think he is the big man that I think the Celtics want. Because other than that, I don't really see who else the Celtics would want in this pick. Number 5 is like, it's a variable, right? Because if we look at the mock draft itself, NBA mock draft. This is from NBC Sports, so, take it with a grain of salt. LaMelo Ball, number 1, according to this NBC article, Golden State will get James Wiseman. Hornets will get Anthony Edwards. Chicago Bulls will get Denny. Cleveland Cavaliers will get Obi Toppin. That might actually not be a bad player. I think Obi Toppin, and hear me out, I think Obi Toppin might also be a player that we could be interested in, just because he's an older player. He's a veteran type of player, and I think that he could potentially be a good pickup for us, and someone that could potentially be a good signing for us if we were able to get him. Yo, what's up, Adam? How you doing, man? Adam, you missed all my talk that I was talking about. Talking to LA Lakers, talking the Chris Paul trade. How are you doing at school? You doing okay? Are you guys even training right now, or is it kind of halted right now? Man, you better be getting... You're still in class? Do you have a late night class? Hey, there you go. That's dope. How is it? Is it so much different than high school practice, or do you feel like our practice has helped you a little bit, or is it a lot more challenging? Adam, let me know if you ever want to come on the show and kind of talk that college hoop process. I would love to kind of dissect with you that process and kind of get your opinion of going from that high school transition to college. If you're ever down for it, let me know. Because I think it's interesting. I think that, as a coach, it's fun. It's fun to talk about this stuff. I'm also expecting my Dominion gear too, man. Let me know if they got any extra smalls. All right. But man, hopefully everything's good for you, man. I think you're in California right now, so hopefully you're staying safe out there. Just make sure to stay safe. All right, man. But let's see here really quick. Let's kind of look at ESPN, kind of draft available. Yeah, it's all good, man. Just I just want to make sure that you're good. Practice is good. I'm glad that you're enjoying college basketball right now. Really happy for you at this point, man. Like I said, hopefully you guys have a season in terms of you're playing games and actually moving across, country to or state to state trying to play your games, man. Like I said, hopefully this stuff clears up next year so I can watch you guys actually play a game in person, because it would be fun. Also, Adam, let me know if I can watch your games on live stream or something like that. I would love to kind of watch some Dominion basketball and see what you guys are see what your team's looking like. But before I head out, because it is 3 and I got some basketball training to do for a different team. Adam, who is your number 1 pick in this draft? Who are you picking? Who's going to be the number 1 guy that's taken in the draft? Who are the Minnesota Timberwolves taking in this draft? I think the Nets get Harden, Celtics go on. Tyrese, I love that talk. I love that idea. I just think it's hard, man. I think it's going to be really hard to trade for Giannis because I don't think that we're going to be able to trade him. Sweet. Adam, private message me on Instagram and let me know like what the link's at, and I'll definitely watch them for sure. But I think, Tyrese, going back to your thing, I think it's going to be hard, man. I think it's going to be really hard to get Giannis to come to us because I think the Bucks have made it abundantly clear that they don't want us, or they don't want to trade Giannis at all. They don't want to get rid of him. They would rather keep him and lose him in the free agency class than try and get him re-signed and stuff like that, and try and trade him away for like draft picks and players. I really don't. I don't think that we're going to necessarily get lucky with that. Anthony Edwards, easy. Okay, you have Anthony Edwards. All right. Adam, if you're still in class and you're bored, come watch my live stream on the mock draft. We'll kind of go over who we think is going to be, who we're going to be talking about. Awkward late night show. How you doing, man? I think he will demand trade if Harden goes. See, I would say that, but at the same time, I'm not sure, man. I would love for us to. I would love to be wrong, man. I would love to be wrong about it. Bucks and McBank. Yeah, I mean, awkward. I think that Hayward will potentially leave. We'll trade him away because I don't think we necessarily need him. I think that kind of last year showed that like Gordon Hayward really made a hindrance to us just because I think he's still recovering from that ankle injury. And I think that if he was able to go on a team where he was the guy, or at least the number 2 guy, then I think that would be a much better situation for him than being on a championship kind of contending team. As much as I love Hayward, I think that ankle injury really affected him, and his trade value right now has gone way down. It's not even at the point where you can trade him for like something easy, but we'll see, man. But yeah, I think Harden to the Nets, I don't know if that necessarily maneuvers a Bucks trade, because I think Giannis will stay a Buck, man. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that goes to a different team. But I don't know. I really don't think that Giannis is going to be moving anywhere until he's a free agent, until he's like able to move himself. But let's see here. I think Miles Turner's 80% chance. I think Miles Turner is probably the best option, but I think Vucevic is someone that you should also look out for because I think we really need it. I think depending on how PJF Performance can handle Taco Fall's like lateral movement and agility and ability, I don't know, man. I'm not sure about Taco Fall at this point. I think that he's a decent player, but I don't think he's necessarily a starting center type of quality player. He's kind of like Bojan, the guy from the Mavericks. I think he's one of those guys. I think that he just Taco just can't move as quick. He's more of like a tall gimmick than really a player that can give you championship winning buckets. He does have a lot of work to do. I know he's working with PJF Performance, who is a great trainer. It looks like we might have nope. I thought we had Power, but we don't. Maybe we do. I'll have to take a look in a second. Looks like we got Power back. So that's really good to see. But yeah, I just don't think that. I don't think Taco's ready necessarily for the us. Tyrese show, thank you for joining. Adam, shout out to you, man. Hopefully you're doing okay, man. Like I said, thank you for tuning into the live stream. Hopefully my live stream isn't necessarily too choppy at this point. But let's see here. Okay, hopefully it's not too choppy. Sean, Tyrese, Supreme Gamer, shout out to everybody out here on the live stream watching. I'll see you. So the time tomorrow is going to be, let's aim for 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. So 4:30 California time. Yeah, I'm going to be live streaming, Tyrese. I'm live streaming the mock draft of what I think personally is going to happen. We'll go over all these mock drafts that we have here. We'll do ESPN, we'll do NBC. This will be a long live stream because unfortunately training got canceled. So I have free time, so we got to take advantage of that situation. So yeah, tomorrow 4:30, 4:30 Pacific time, so that'd be 7 o'clock if you're on the East Coast. So we'll see everybody there tomorrow. Anyway, guys, thank you once again for joining the live stream. We'll catch you on the next live stream, which is going to be tomorrow on potentially the NBA mock draft, and we might have some guest appearances on that as well. But anyway, guys, like I said, catch you later. Peace. Sean, I just saw your thing now, so I'll peace out in just 1 second. Yeah, Sean, you know what? I would love to kind of watch some Zags Kansas game with you. If you're down to watch along with me on that day, let me know. Because I'll do that with you. How about that, Sean? We'll do a watch along and then we'll do a post analysis, okay? Anyway, guys, that is going to be it. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.